Welcome back to WWE Reporter, the only place where we don't sugarcoat the truth about what's really happening in WWE. And speaking of truth, let me tell you something that's going to absolutely infuriate you. Dean Ambrose just crossed a line that no one saw coming, and WWE is trying to sweep it under the rug like it never happened. That's right, while everyone's busy talking about WrestleMania season and who's getting pushed, Ambrose just declared war on two of the biggest stars in the company, and the way WWE handled it is an absolute disgrace. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker were left lying in a pool of their own blood, and what does WWE do? They cut to commercial. They protected their golden boys from the real chaos that Ambrose unleashed, and I'm here to expose exactly why this attack changes everything about the current landscape of WWE. If you think you know what happened, think again, because what the cameras didn't show you is 10 times worse than what you saw on TV. Before we get into the absolute mayhem that went down, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to WWE Reporter, and hit that notification bell because we're about to expose some truths that WWE doesn't want you to know. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be questioning everything WWE has told you about their so-called locker room unity. Let's set the scene, shall we? Monday Night Raw, the supposed A-show of WWE, is running smoothly. Seth Rollins is in the ring cutting one of his typical promos about being the workhorse of WWE, about carrying the company on his back for years, about being the revolutionary. The crowd's eating it up because, let's be honest, Rollins knows how to work a microphone. But here's where things get interesting, and by interesting, I mean absolutely unhinged. Braun Breaker's music hits, and the second-generation superstar makes his way to the ring. Now, these two have had their issues, right? There's been tension building for weeks. Breaker thinks he's the future, Rollins thinks he is WWE, and everyone's anticipating this massive confrontation that's going to set up something special down the line. The WWE Universe is on their feet, cameras are rolling, and then, Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, the Shield music hits, and the entire arena erupts. But wait, there's only one member of the Shield who would have the audacity to use that music without the other members. Dean Ambrose, the lunatic fringe himself, comes walking through the crowd like he owns the place, and folks, the look in his eyes? That wasn't the look of someone coming to break up a fight. That was the look of a man on a mission to destroy everything in his path. Now here's where WWE tried to manipulate what you saw. The camera angles, the editing, the commentary team trying to rationalize what was happening, it was all a carefully constructed illusion to protect their investments in Rollins and Breaker. But those of us who were actually paying attention saw the real story unfold, and it's so much more sinister than what WWE wants you to believe. Ambrose hits the ring, and for a split second, Rollins thinks it's a reunion. You can see it on his face, that momentary flash of recognition, of brotherhood, of nostalgia for the Shield days when they ran roughshod over the entire WWE roster. Rollins extends his hand, and what does Ambrose do? He spits in Rollins' face. Not metaphorically, literally spits right in the face of his former brother. The disrespect. The audacity. And you know what the worst part is? Rollins probably deserved it. Think about everything Seth Rollins has done to Dean Ambrose over the years. The betrayals, the cheap shots, the times he chose his own glory over their brotherhood. Karma came collecting, and she brought Dean Ambrose as her enforcer. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, because if Ambrose had just targeted Rollins, we could chalk this up to old business, unfinished scores, brothers settling their differences. But Braun Breaker? That's where this becomes a declaration of war. Breaker had nothing to do with the Shield history. He wasn't even on the main roster when the Shield was dominating WWE. So why would Ambrose target him? Here's the real truth that WWE doesn't want you to figure out. Ambrose isn't just attacking individuals. He's attacking what they represent. Rollins represents the establishment, the corporate sellout who traded his edge for main event spots and executive approval. Breaker represents the future, the next generation that WWE is desperately trying to shove down our throats whether we want it or not. Ambrose attacking both of them sends one crystal clear message: the old guard is dead, and the new guard is unworthy. The attack itself was absolutely brutal. Ambrose hits Rollins with a dirty deeds on the exposed concrete because of course he removed the padding. That's vintage Ambrose right there. But then he picks Rollins back up, drags him to the ring post, and delivers another dirty deeds directly onto the steel. Medical staff is rushing to the ring, refs are trying to restore order, and the entire time, Ambrose has this psychotic smile on his face like he's enjoying every second of Rollins' suffering. And just when you think it can't get worse, Ambrose turns his attention to Braun Breaker. Now, Breaker's no slouch. This guy is a legitimate athlete, a powerhouse who's been destroying everyone in his path. He should be able to mount some offense, right? Wrong. Ambrose was so calculated, so precise, so methodical in his assault that Breaker didn't stand a chance. Ambrose hits him with a steel chair, not once, not twice, but 17 times. I counted. 17 chair shots to the back, to the legs, to the arms, systematically breaking down the supposed future of WWE like he was nothing more than an enhancement talent. And where were the baby faces? Where was the locker room rushing to make the save? They were hiding in the back because everyone knows you don't get between Dean Ambrose and his prey when he's in that mental state. But here's where the story gets even more interesting, and this is where WWE really tried to control the narrative. As Ambrose is standing over the broken bodies of Rollins and Breaker, he grabs a microphone. WWE cut his audio. They muted what he was saying to the live crowd. But thanks to some fans at ringside who recorded it on their phones, we know exactly what Ambrose said, and it's explosive. Ambrose called out Triple H. He said, and I quote, "This is what happens when you forget where you came from. This is what happens when you push your chosen ones and ignore the warriors who built this company. Hunter, you want a war? You just got one, and I'm bringing back the violence that made WWE great before you tried to turn it into a corporate playground." Boom. Ambrose just declared war not on Rollins and Breaker, but on the entire WWE regime. He's not just a rogue wrestler causing chaos, he's a revolutionary trying to burn down the establishment and rebuild WWE in his own image. This is exactly what WWE feared when Ambrose left the company years ago, and now he's back with a vendetta and absolutely nothing to lose. Think about the implications here. If Ambrose is truly at war with WWE management, who's going to join him? You think Roman Reigns is happy with how he's been booked lately? You think there aren't a dozen wrestlers in that locker room who feel overlooked, underutilized, and disrespected? Ambrose just lit the fuse on a powder keg that could explode at any moment, and WWE has no idea how to contain it. The online wrestling community went ballistic after this happened. Twitter was on fire with fans debating whether Ambrose was justified, whether this was a work shoot or a shoot that became a work, and what this means for the future of WWE programming. Some fans are calling Ambrose a hero for standing up to corporate WWE. Others are calling him a villain for attacking Breaker, who by all accounts is a stand-up guy who's never done anything to Ambrose. But that's the genius of what Ambrose did, he made everyone pick a side. You're either with him or against him, and that's exactly how you create must-see television. Now let's talk about the backstage fallout, because according to my sources, and yes, I have multiple sources within WWE who feed me information that the company doesn't want getting out, the locker room is in absolute chaos. There's apparently a group of wrestlers who are applauding what Ambrose did, seeing him as someone who finally had the guts to say what everyone's been thinking. Then there's another group that's furious with Ambrose for attacking Breaker, who's done nothing but show respect to the veterans since arriving on the main roster. Triple H himself reportedly had an emergency meeting with the entire roster after the show, trying to calm tensions and assure everyone that Ambrose would be dealt with. But here's the question nobody's asking: why did Ambrose have access to the building in the first place? His contract status has been murky at best. Some reports say he's under a Legends deal, others say he's a free agent who just shows up when he wants. The fact that he was able to orchestrate this attack suggests either massive security failures by WWE or, and this is the conspiracy theory that's gaining traction, someone in management wanted this to happen. Think about it. WWE's ratings have been stagnant. Their social media engagement has been down. They need something explosive, something controversial, something that gets people talking. What better way to generate buzz than to have Dean Ambrose, one of the most unpredictable and beloved wrestlers of his generation, come back and wage war on the entire company? It's the kind of storyline that could main event WrestleMania if they play their cards right. But if this is a work, they're working everyone, including their own roster, because the reactions from other wrestlers on social media seem genuinely shocked. Kevin Owens tweeted something cryptic about chaos being necessary for evolution. Sami Zayn posted a picture of the Shield with a broken heart emoji. Even wrestlers from other companies chimed in, with some AEW stars making thinly veiled references to the attack and questioning whether Ambrose is starting a revolution that extends beyond WWE's borders. And let's address the elephant in the room: where does Roman Reigns fit into all of this? The tribal chief and the other original member of the Shield hasn't said a word publicly about Ambrose's attack on Rollins. That silence speaks volumes. Is Roman condoning what Ambrose did? Is he staying neutral? Or is he planning his own response that's going to shake WWE to its foundation? The Shield Brotherhood was supposed to be unbreakable, but Ambrose just shattered any remaining illusion of that unity. The attack on Seth Rollins also brings up their complicated history. These two were brothers in arms, conquered WWE together, held every championship worth holding, and then Rollins betrayed the Shield in one of the most shocking moments in WWE history. They've reconciled multiple times over the years, teamed up again, had more falling outs, and seemingly reached a mutual respect. But Ambrose's attack proves that he never forgave Rollins for that original betrayal. All those reconciliations? Lies. Ambrose was just waiting for the perfect moment to get his ultimate revenge. As for Braun Breaker, his inclusion in this attack might actually be the most strategic part of Ambrose's plan. By attacking WWE's chosen future star, Ambrose sends a message to everyone in the back: nobody is safe, and your spot in the company hierarchy means nothing to him. Breaker's been protected since day one, given every opportunity to succeed, fast-tracked to championships and main event spots. Ambrose just showed that all of that protection means nothing when a true lunatic decides to target you. It's psychological warfare at its finest. WWE now has several options for how to proceed with this storyline, and every single option is fascinating. They could have Ambrose arrested, adding a legal element to the storyline that would generate massive media coverage. They could have an army of wrestlers seek revenge, creating a classic one-man versus the world scenario. They could reveal that someone high up in WWE management hired Ambrose to take out specific targets, turning this into a conspiracy thriller. Or, and this is the most intriguing option, they could have more wrestlers join Ambrose's cause, creating a full-scale rebellion against the WWE establishment. Imagine if Ambrose's attack is just the beginning. What if next week, another group of disgruntled wrestlers follows his lead? What if the Judgment Day decides to align with Ambrose? What if former Shield members Roman Reigns decides that Ambrose has the right idea and WWE needs to be torn down and rebuilt? The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this such a compelling situation. The wrestling world is divided right now. Some fans think Ambrose is absolutely justified in his actions. They point to years of WWE mismanagement, pushing the wrong people, holding down talented wrestlers, and prioritizing corporate interests over what's best for the product. These fans see Ambrose as a necessary force of chaos who's doing what needs to be done to shake WWE out of its complacency. Other fans think Ambrose has gone too far. Attacking Seth Rollins, given their history, is one thing, but bringing Braun Breaker into it? A guy who's only been on the main roster for a relatively short time and has been nothing but professional? These fans see Ambrose as a bitter veteran who can't accept that the business has moved on without him at the center of it. Both perspectives have merit, and that's what makes this situation so perfect for WWE storytelling. The best wrestling angles are the ones where you can understand motivations from multiple sides. Ambrose isn't a traditional heel or babyface in this scenario, he's a revolutionary with a cause, and whether you agree with his methods or not, you can't deny that he's fighting for something he believes in. The question now becomes, what happens next? WWE has a massive decision to make. Do they suspend Ambrose, giving him martyr status and potentially making him even more popular with a certain segment of fans? Do they embrace the chaos and book him in a massive match against Rollins and Breaker in a handicap situation where he has to overcome insurmountable odds? Do they have authority figures try to control him, knowing that Ambrose historically does his best work when he's defying authority? My prediction? This is going to escalate quickly. Within the next few weeks, we're going to see other wrestlers getting involved, lines being drawn, and WWE potentially building toward one of the most consequential storylines in recent memory. Ambrose didn't just attack two wrestlers, he attacked the entire structure of WWE, and that kind of challenge can't go unanswered. This situation also raises questions about where WWE's priorities lie. Are they going to protect their investments in Rollins and Breaker, potentially making Ambrose look weak in the process? Or are they going to embrace the unpredictability that Ambrose brings and let him run wild, consequences be damned? The right answer is obvious to anyone who understands what makes wrestling compelling. You let Ambrose be Ambrose, and you build your entire storyline around the chaos he creates. Dean Ambrose just reminded everyone why he's called the lunatic fringe. This wasn't a calculated attack designed to win championships or climb the corporate ladder. This was pure, unfiltered rage manifesting itself in the most violent way possible. And you know what? Wrestling needs more of that. We've become so accustomed to sanitized, PG-friendly content that we've forgotten what made WWE great in the first place: unpredictability, violence, and wrestlers who genuinely seemed like they wanted to hurt each other. So is Dean Ambrose starting a new war? Absolutely. And it's not just a war against Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker. It's a war against everything WWE has become. It's a war against corporate interests overriding creative decisions. It's a war against pushing wrestlers based on their look rather than their ability. It's a war against playing it safe when wrestling is at its best, when it's dangerous and unpredictable. The WWE Universe needs to understand that what happened wasn't just an attack, it was a statement. Ambrose is here to burn down the false idols that WWE has created and remind everyone what real wrestling looks like. Whether you love him or hate him for it, you can't look away, and that's exactly the point. Drop your comments below and let me know, are you Team Ambrose? Or do you think he crossed the line? Do you want to see WWE embrace this chaos, or should they shut it down immediately? And most importantly, who do you think will be the next target of Ambrose's wrath? Because trust me, he's not done yet. Make sure you're subscribed to WWE Reporter, because we're going to be covering every single development in this story as it unfolds. This is the biggest storyline in WWE right now, and you don't want to miss a second of it. Hit that notification bell so you know immediately when we drop new videos with exclusive information and analysis. Dean Ambrose just changed the entire landscape of WWE, and we're here for every second of the chaos. This is WWE Reporter, and we'll see you in the next one.